We're here again, live and direct with day 9. I'm just coming to believe that we're destined for greater things, where technology won't be our concern because we
Absolutely.
won't have to worry about it. So, at this phase, I'm just taking it, I'm just rolling with the punches.
One day at a time, one day at a
One
time.
day at a time. But anywho, so we are here with our 12-day Conquering the Inner Storm live stream, and we are on day 9 of that live stream. And tonight we will be discussing, yes, that's the book there, the journal there. We will be discussing managing personal and professional growth and development. So I'm
Mhm.
LaDawn Elliott.
I'm Nicole Bradley.
Okay, all right, and we're going to kind of jump right into it. Nicole held up the book, so I'll make sure I go ahead and say that it is available on Etsy.com for your purchase. Please go out and search Conquering the Inner Storm. Picture of the book will pop up, and just purchase a book for yourself. It's a great gift for yourself, great gift to yourself, and something you could give a friend, a family member, a colleague that you think will certainly benefit from the book. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right, so let's jump on into tonight's topic. This is an
All righty.
interesting one for me because um, it delves into the workspace and into the personal space. I
Mm-hmm.
think people are always seeking ways to advance themselves, or at least thinking about them. Whether or not
Right.
they actually move forward is another question.
It's a
But
whole different story.
yeah, I think people are always at least thinking about it, one or the other. But in most cases, probably throughout all of our adult working lives, at some point in time, it might be both of them you're thinking of at the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I believe that some people believe you have to sacrifice one for the other, but I believe that they can go hand in hand. So again, tonight's topic is managing personal and professional growth and development. So I'll go ahead and read the excerpt.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So, managing personal and professional growth and development. Managing personal and professional development involves setting goals and working towards them in order to grow and improve in your personal and professional life. This may involve learning new skills, seeking new experiences, and taking on new challenges. It can also be helpful to reflect on your progress and identify areas for improvement. Building a strong support network and seeking feedback and guidance from others can also be important. But by actively managing your personal and professional development, you can take control of your growth and create a fulfilling and successful life. I believe that.
I do too.
I believe that. So, we talked about this word. I'm gonna let you jump into the one word, but something
Okay.
to me real quick. We've been talking about control, 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 relinquishing
Yeah.
control, all that kind of good stuff. And the last sentence is, by actively managing your personal and professional development, you can take control of your growth and creating a fulfilling and successful life. You can guide that. I want to make sure everybody's clear on that word as it is used in that sentence. That means you have
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to guide that based on the choices you make, not to limit
Absolutely.
yourself by trying to control it in a certain way. So that just stuck
Gotcha.
with me as I read it. So go ahead.
No, thanks,
Got one
LaDawn.
word in this activity.
I picked out one word.
Okay. All right.
My one word, my one word is reflect.
Reflect. Okay.
Yep. So in a sentence, it says, it can also be helpful to reflect on your progress and identify areas for improvement. So I wrote down, reflect is my one word that resonates with me because this has been one of the aspects of my growth journey that I am consistent in approaching. I crave the time to reflect because it means I have successfully completed a task, project, or milestone, and I'm excited to give and receive feedback on the task and reflect on how to upgrade and make it better the next time.
Okay.
I need to reflect. So I think I'm great at that. I think I'm most consistent with that. But my thing that I need to improve on, outside of reflecting, is celebrating what went well. I don't celebrate what went well through the process. So
Yeah.
I'm all about tell me the bad stuff, but I don't celebrate the good stuff that happens. So I got to do better with that.
I think a lot of people suffer from that. What is that
Mhm.
about? We
I
overlook the good things like, oh, that was
tell
supposed
you.
to happen.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, yeah,
But we don't give ourselves no types of credit. We don't make any emotional deposits into ourselves as it relates to, let's talk about all the good things that took place.
but
And
what's so wild about that, especially on the professional development side, although we don't give ourselves credit, we overlook it. That's just supposed to be how we perform. But we will be 1000% if our boss doesn't see those things, right?
that's right.
We're supposed to
Right.
notice everything and take into account everything. So
Hmm.
why are we seeking that external validation? Or why, or better yet, we
And
don't
to
see
me,
it.
yeah, and I think the external validation for most people means something. It means promotion, it could mean more money, it could mean, um, if you were doing it for true developmental, like a stretch goal, a stretch challenge, it gives you some level of um achievement. But I honestly, I say I was raised this way, but I know in my household I was like, if you got 100, if there's a opportunity to make 100 on a test and you make a 98, like my mom's first thing is, well, why didn't you get that one answer right? You put true and the answer was false. And I think I've wired my whole frontal lobe to think that way. But I'm now unraveling all of that, because if you don't celebrate the successes, then you'll think lower of yourself than what you really are.
Yeah, a lot lower.
A whole lot lower.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah.
So that was my one
Seems to be
word.
a common theme. Okay, well, not only was not I not successful at picking out one word,
Uh-oh. You did so good the
I,
last 3 days. You've been on it.
yeah, okay. This must be a full
Okay.
moon
I
coming
like
or
it. I
something.
like it.
So I did do it tonight. So I got two things actually. What stuck out for me is taking on a new challenge and then feedback and guidance, right? So the sentence is this may involve learning new skills, seeking new experiences, and taking on new challenges. I think it's
Hmm.
very important for us to not shy away from challenges, whether we are seeking them or someone is giving us an opportunity to stretch ourselves, because I think when you take on new challenges, you learn something new. Whatever the challenge is about, you learn something new. You learn
Hmm.
something new about yourself, because you have to stretch yourself to kind of wrap yourself around whatever this challenge is. You're exposed to new people, new places, new things, whether that's professionally. If you get a stretch assignment that's outside of your day-to-day scope of work, you might now be put with a group of people that you don't normally talk to. You might have
Right.
access to a higher level of person based on the visibility of this project. So
Hmm.
be okay. And personally, when you take on new challenges personally, you certainly put yourself in a different space. And I think that's where the most magic happens,
Hmm.
when you step into a challenge, because even if the challenge is quote unquote not successfully met, right? Out of
Right.
100, you get 80. That's 80% of something you didn't have before,
Yeah, that's true.
right? And I don't
Now,
think we think of it that way.
and so what I would be thinking about is that 20%.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the challenge gives you an opportunity to learn while growing. So that was about taking on new challenges, and then feedback and guidance. I think getting feedback and guidance, they're critical to our growth. So I am really good about seeking feedback from colleagues and from staff, because I'm always trying to figure out how I can be a better leader, how I
Hmm.
can be of more help to them, how I can have a higher level of influence with them. I am getting better, and this is an area of growth for me, and seeking feedback in my personal life, meaning,
Okay.
and it's difficult because when we all as parents have to make that transition from being parent, the one that's controlling and making all the decisions, and we're not necessarily focused on your feedback about our parenting style because we got to make things happen. So you
Mm-hmm.
make that transition from parent to advisor, right? And in
Yep.
that role, in order for you to do it successfully, you're gonna have to take some feedback. You're gonna
Mm,
take some feedback about who you've been, how you've been, and how who you've been has impacted how I am, right?
that
And
is
so,
correct.
yeah, you got to take that feedback. So I'm getting better about taking that feedback in my personal life and romantic relationships as well, because I told you I went to relationships with uh, the mindset of not being a weak mate, not being a
Right.
weak woman, and that creates a lot of thoughts in your heads that are counterproductive
Right.
to a
Right.
relationship. So it wasn't, I wasn't opposed to feedback. I might have received feedback, but I was good at volleying, oh, you hit
Yeah.
it over here all over the court, let me hit it back to you, kind of thing.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
growing in that area. So I think it's important that we learn to listen, that we truly learn to listen, especially if we have an opportunity to get that feedback and guidance from someone who's been down that road. Professional.
Right.
The purpose of a mentor is for you not to make the same mistakes, for you to get some shortcut secrets. So you got to find someone that you trust, and you trust when they tell you the truth, right?
Right.
Even in your personal life, there's an auntie, there's a uncle, there's an older cousin, there's somebody somebody at church, it's somebody somewhere that has some level of experience in their life that you're shooting for. And if they're open to mentoring you, you have to be open to listening to them. So,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, my takeaway from that is make sure you are seeking opportunities for growth, even in the most unexpected places. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give a shout out to Verna, who's watching, Dot,
Hey, Verna. Hey,
watching,
Dot.
Marilyn,
Hey, Marilyn.
and Betty. And I see two
Hey,
others. It's
Betty.
telling me others are watching, but in order for me, I love to give name calls, shout outs. Just say you're watching so I can call your name out. Thank you. And we appreciate you guys watching tonight. So we just
Blue.
covered the first activity in for topic 9. You're about to say what, Nicole?
Yeah, I was gonna say Bluesy is watching too.
Bluesy is watching as well. Bluesy is here every night with us, cheering us on, our personal reimagined potential mascot.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wasn't successful in picking one word, but I think the words that I picked, they spoke to me. They were, hey Felicia, hey Larry, hey Paul. I was gonna say Larry. Hey Paul, hey Felicia. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. So those are my words from the one word activity. So we can jump on over to the
Yeah.
quote.
Okay.
Quote and question.
So I think I'm taking the first one, LaDon.
You have it. Yep.
All righty. So the first quote for the congregation is: the only thing that stands between you and your dream is the will to try and the belief that it is actually possible, by Joel Brown.
Yes.
And this quote is very true. I agree with it 1,000%. But the reason why it's in here, because it makes you think, right? So I love this quote, and I know that I'm professional. I'm a professional at trying. I'm a professional at trying, the act of trying,
Okay.
but an amateur at believing, the belief
Ooh.
part. So the
Okay.
belief part is harder for me, but I'm getting confident path forward and better at tuning out the noise and the circumstances in my mind.
Okay.
So I'm not as strong at the belief part as I am in the trying part.
Okay. Okay. I'm so glad that you said that out loud, because I think a lot of us suffer from that. And when I say suffer, I mean suffer like an illness, right?
Gotcha.
And I think it may cause us not to really even, well, not to try at all. And sometimes when we are trying,
Right.
to the outsider looking in, it looks like we're trying. But we
Right.
really know that we're not giving it our all, because we really don't believe we're supposed to be there anyway. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay.
Especially when you're trying to like chart a path that you haven't seen a good example of, like you're trying to do a whole new standard, then it is. I'm not gonna say it's not difficult because you don't have a roadmap, so to speak, but you're charting a new territory. So
Yeah.
sometimes the belief is is shaking a bit. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, I got a question before you go to your question part for
Uh-huh.
our reimagined potential journalers, our
Yes.
RPA. That's an interesting thing, and I'm glad Nicole brought that up. What was something that you dreamed about or that you wanted to do in your life that you didn't believe it was possible for you to do? So you just didn't do it. What was
Mm.
something that you wanted to do? And I have a good one I'm going to share, and I was contemplating where I was going to share it later on, but I think I am since it came up this way. But what is something during your lifetime that you wanted to do but you did not do because you didn't believe it was possible for you to do? Drop it in the chat.
All right. And so the question is, what are some new challenges you can take on, and how can you step outside of your comfort zone? My current new challenge is helping my son navigate his soon-to-be MLB career.
I know that's right. Climate
Uh,
college. Mhm, mhm.
I didn't say future. I just said soon to be because I'm like I ain't saying future. Uh, I am learning to speak the language of general managers and scouts as it relates to player value, statistics, and the definition of potential and readiness for the next level. This is outside of my comfort zone because the business of baseball is different from basketball and football, which that's kind of what I'm accustomed to. My goal is to help Trey get overvalued based on preparation, his sports IQ, versatility, and intangibles.
Okay, that's a heck of a
So
goal. Yeah, that's
that's my goal.
that's major. I think it's hard to do.
Mhm.
Um,
And you got to seek out people who you're developing relationships with, who you need to trust, who you're hoping that they're taking you down this
yeah,
right path,
yeah,
and um the selection of baseball is so political, and it's so that's what I'm looking for.
not for us.
Legacy, yeah, not for us, and legacy. So a lot of these athletes now that are coming out with Trey, their dads played, their uncles played, their older
Um,
brothers are currently playing. So teams like that legacy, they like the storyline that goes along with the player. And so, it's you got to come back a lot of that, and then you got to make sure your stats are just as good, if not way better, for you to get the same look. So,
yeah.
just praying through that and praying that the folks that are in the right decision makers in the room that you have developed a great relationship with, and
Mm,
they can advocate for him.
yeah. So that feels like a 24/7 education, like all the time.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, about
learning
the
something
sport.
new every day.
Yeah,
Seem
yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's a good one. So, Paul said something that he dreamed of but didn't believe was possible. He's responding to that question was to
Okay.
join the Air Force.
Oh,
Didn't know
cool.
that. Didn't know that you were what is it a military kind of guy. That wasn't the word I was looking for, but yeah, join the Air Force and be an effective and involved father. So, okay, be an effective and
Mm-hmm.
involved father. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You dream you don't think it's possible, or you're in the act of making it possible. Which are you saying? And thank you, Shakira. Thank you for joining in, tuning in tonight. Okay. All right. Anybody else
All
drop
right.
in? What did you want to do at one point in your life that you didn't do because you didn't think it was possible? Thank you, Paul, for jumping in and sharing that with us tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and to
Yep.
quote and question number 2. My quote is, the only thing that stands between, I'm sorry, that's yours. Let me get to the next page. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubt of today. Franklin
Mm,
D. Roosevelt.
I
The
like it.
only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our
Mhm.
doubt of today. So I believe we can never create our reality or our future or manifest our dreams if we don't believe with full expectancy. So if we don't believe, the question we just talked about before, if you don't really believe it, then it's not going to come to pass. If we don't believe we deserve it, it's not going to come to pass. If we doubt ourselves, if we don't feel like we belong in the room, um, or if we feel like we have to have control over the way that it happens. And I think a lot of us get caught in that because everybody tells you that there's a specific way to go get it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
there's no other way. And when you think outside the box and you're trying to go about it your way, people don't see it how you see it in your head. It's not
Mm-hmm.
given to them to see it how you see it in your head. So they start to say things and then you start to doubt yourself. So
Yep.
yeah, so those doubts of the day, I think they can show up in you being very, very rigid in how it's supposed to happen. So you close yourself off from any other solution, any other
Right.
opportunity, any other way, and then just not believing you deserve it or believe you're in the room. So I think you have to own the fact that you are just as worthy, you are just as good as anyone else. And even more important that I think what we don't fully grasp is it's not about being equally as good as someone or even better than someone. It's about understanding the value we have as the individual with that thing, with that talent, with that gift,
Mm-hmm.
whether it
Right.
is being the best mathematician in the world or the best parent in the world, whatever that is, you
Yep.
bring something unique to the table. And I think that's what we forget, the value we individually have. And that's
Right.
overlooked because we group think, we group feel, we group live. And to be an individual is to be a weirdo today in today's age. Verna said to be a nurse. You wanted to be a nurse.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And I can see that because we talked about last night.
Yeah, Florence Nightingale.
It's Florence Nightingale, baby. The stuff she be trying to do, I ain't built like that. So yeah, I could see that. And in college, Paul said in college had a goal to be in the Air Force, be an Air Force pilot, but had it. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so in college he had a goal to be an Air Force pilot, but he had a child, so that changed everything.
Ah, I see. I
I
got you.
get that. Yeah, the children taking
Take
precedence
precedent.
and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, I get that. I get that. Okay, so my question is, how can you stay open to new opportunities and be open to change? So my answer is very short to this one, and it's to stay open to learning. That's
That's
it.
it.
You have to stay open to learning. When you know it all, when you nobody can tell you anything, when anything somebody said and you've seen that, you've done that, you're at the top
Like
of the
like me, that's what I be doing.
so
I'm joking.
when you're that, there's no room for new opportunities to come to
Right.
you, right?
Yep.
And I think you have to, more than anything, appreciate the diversity of everything else. Like everything else that you don't know anything about, whether it's a new food, whether it's a new challenge or a new position at your job, whatever it is, there's something that you don't know. There's something that's different from you. Someone's thinking different than you, someone's performing
Right.
different than you. You have to appreciate that. You have to
Mm-hmm.
find value in that.
That's right.
I think that's where we fail a lot as a race. Everything that's
Right.
different, we look for the negative rather than appreciating the beauty and the difference and learning something new. So for me, it's simple. You have to appreciate learning and be willing to learn.
And be a lifelong learner. That's my mom says all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah,
She always talks about being a lifelong learner.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I think that makes life interesting to me.
Right.
Always something.
Absolutely.
It's always something to learn. Okay. All right. And so I said I was going to share something. So
Uh-oh.
I'm not a pageant girl. I'm not a pageant
What?
girl. I'm not like I never wanted to be Miss America. The more I talk about, I was kind of a peculiar little girl. I never wanted to be like a pageant girl. I've always loved pink, that kind of thing. But I never wanted to be married. I never saw myself having kids. None of that, right?
No
So
girl
I
stuff.
started, huh?
No girl stuff.
None of that. I played with
Yeah.
Barbies and all that kind of good stuff, but the traditional things that people think young girls dream of,
All right. I'm with you.
not so much. So I started off with I'm not a pageant girl because I have one regret about college because I had a fabulous. If I could play those 4 years on loop, baby, whoop, it would be. But have one regret. I thought about it, then I put it out of my mind, then people start mentioning it to me, and then I kept thinking about it, but then I didn't run for Miss Payne College. while I was
Oh, wow.
school, right? And
Nice.
time that I would have run, the girls that were running at the time, they were no more talented than I was. Now, I'm not a Mahalia Jackson, but I can hold a tune. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Uh,
why am I just finding this out? Why am I just finding
you
this
know,
out?
everything, I
Okay, I mean, you're
let
right, you're
all
right,
the greatness out, right? So,
right.
I can do anything I set my mind to, I pretty much can accomplish. But you know what I told myself? And I'm almost embarrassed to say because it sounds so crazy. I ain't gonna run from no Miss Payne College because after you win, then become and I don't know the word for it, but I'm gonna say troop of all the queen colleges. You know, you get all these interviews and then you have to go to all these schools and smile and do all this kind of stuff and blah. I said, I ain't got time to be smiling for nobody out. Yeah, that I don't have time to be smiling for nobody all the time. So that's why I ain't gonna run.
That was it. That's what you came up with. That's all it took.
I
That's
mean, that
it.
sounds so stupid in real life when you say it out loud.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think my fear is that since I never saw myself being that, is that a place I really can be? Is that a
I
place I
got you.
really can hold? Can I be what I believe in my head this person, this role is supposed to be? So yeah, that's the only I look at back on my college years, and that's the only thing that I regret that I was not courageous enough to do that. And I hid behind I ain't got time to be smiling all the time. What? That is the level of stupidity.
Wow. Wow. I see. I
It's crazy.
see.
It's crazy, right?
I
So,
got you. But I did one pageant because my mom dared me to, because I was
okay,
the whole tomboy of all ages.
okay.
Like I wear all I had on was chapstick. I didn't wear earrings. I was like, look, no, like it was sweatpants and a t-shirt, and that's all I wanted to wear to church. That's all I wanted to wear to anything. And my mom was like, this is my senior year, and she was like, I'm not gonna let you play basketball unless you go out for a pageant. And I'm like, what does that have to do? What does that have to do with anything, mom? Like for real? She said, no, I want you to go out for the Miss Chester High School. She's like, I was like, Mom, I don't even have a dress. Like, I ain't going shopping for one. I put on my sister's prom dress from
Oh
3 years
wow.
prior
Oh
and
wow.
her shoes, because we were the same size. And I was like, okay, let me go out here. And so when I got out there, I was like, hi, everybody, I'm Nicole, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a contestant number 2. And they loved it. And I won. I won the pageant. And I was out there like, I don't want to be here. So I'm just going to act like these white people. And that's, if it's some white people on the call, I mean, hey, that's what I did.
Sorry, not
I was like,
sorry.
that's what I'm gonna do. And I played the little piano, and I was like, and I
Wow.
won.
Wow.
I'm gonna show tomorrow. I'll get my yearbook, and I share the picture with all of
Wow.
our RBJers,
Oh
RPJers.
wow. 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 Those,
So my motivation was different.
yeah,
It's
definitely,
like,
definitely. Got to
I've
get
got
out
to
there.
play basketball. We just won state championship. Like, who's not playing? So my
That's a
mom
heck of a
got me.
bribe. That's a heck of a bribe. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the heck of a bribe. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's on me. Okay. I
Yep.
think I got the next quote question. So my quote says, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you
Yes.
haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't
Yeah.
settle.
Yeah.
All as with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Steve
Yes.
Jobs.
Yes. And that's for
And
work and for lovers,
for
for
everything.
friends. Yes.
Yes. I say I'm thankful for the lessons. I'm thankful for the lessons. Some may be good, some may be not so good as far as my work experience that have taught me. Now that I am doing what I love to do, it's still a challenge to find the exact niche, treasure, and magic service. Still working on the great work and peeling away the less likable tasks, more to come.
Okay.
So for me, this whole finding it has still been a journey. So I'm still looking for the perfect of the perfect, if that makes sense. So settling right at this moment for me is okay. Like, it's still very enjoyable, but I think the enjoyable plus the fulfillment is going to rise to the top after going through this cycle of services that we're going to be doing for the next year or so.
So what's
So I think I'm
enjoyable?
still,
Is
huh?
the settling is
Yeah,
enjoyable?
so what I mean by settling, like I'm ready to say, oh, this is the one thing that I just, if I could just do that one thing, but now it's like five things, which are all great, but I bet it's one of those five and I ain't figured it out yet.
Okay.
If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. So
Uh,
this has nothing to do with that direct answer, but what advice, especially we're grown. We're like
mhm.
40s,
Super grown.
50s, kids and all. What advice would you give to someone that hasn't found it yet and is still looking? Because I think people give up after a while and be like, well, then it's just not gonna, it's not in the cards for
Oh
me.
man. Uh, I I mean, I want to say keep going, but that sounds so cliche. Um, but the advice I would give them is that you'll never be satisfied fully until you find it. And I don't think that God wants us to go through this life being less than satisfied fully, if that makes sense. I would tell them, I hope whatever it is, it chases you and beats you all the way down until you submit, because it's that important.
So you said something that I didn't think was going to be the answer, but you said something so profound. That thing that is yours,
Hmm.
that thing you were all looking for, it's chasing us,
Yes.
always presenting opportunities for us to be in it, to do it, to live it.
Right.
And we are either running away from it, or we're
Hmm.
dismissive of it, or we're fearful of it, but it's
Absolutely.
always chasing. And you know that you found it. I think we alluded to that the other night too. You know that you found it when you're doing it, number one, if it's work, and if it doesn't feel like work. Uh, you know you found it when everything just starts to flow.
Right.
You're not having to jump over hurdles. You're not having to scheme. You're not having to do anything. Everything just flows. All of the things that you were dreaming about might not come to you in the way that you dreamed about them, but
Hmm.
those doors start to open in a
Right.
relationship. Things start to, you're fed in a different way,
Right.
or in
And,
your previous relationship, and you're not having to fight for. I'm not saying a relationship is without challenges, because
right. Right.
but you're fed in a different way, and you're not, it's not confrontational, and you're having to chase it. It's there for
Right.
you, and it's full.
And I honestly, for me personally, uh, the more I ran, it started to corner me. It started to get to
Mhm.
a point where I was like, okay, you know what? It's almost like my back is against the wall. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna do, fight or flight. It's gonna be one of the two, right? And when you get to a place where you say, okay, I hear you,
Mhm.
I'm surrendering.
Yes,
It
surrender.
is the most peaceful feeling. I can't explain it. They talk about the peace that surpasses all understanding. Is a very peaceful feeling.
Yes.
And then what I'm going to call the disruption comes. So now you got to be like, oh, I'm got to pivot. I got to do something totally different. You may have to learn some new things. You got a different avenue to take that you're not as familiar with, but it's
Yeah,
been great.
yeah, but that's where most people turn around and be like, oh no, not
Oh,
doing
oh,
that.
that must be the wrong thing.
Yeah,
God didn't make it that clear to
yeah,
me, but
yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be.
It's not okay. Go ahead and answer your question, but let me
Yep.
say this: we're on day 9
Day
of our
9.
12-day journey, and tonight we're talking about managing personal and professional growth and development. And we're excited about this topic because it encompasses all of the things, work and home.
Yep.
And she just said another magical word: surrender. If you guys can put in the comments something that you surrendered to,
Oh,
something
I
that
like
you're
it.
fighting against, that you finally surrendered to, and you felt that weight lift off of you.
Yep.
Work, personal, I don't care. It doesn't matter. What have you surrendered to in your life? Share something with us. Okay. I think I have, oh, you have your question?
Oh, yeah, I got the question. Yep. Question, it says, what fears are you holding on to that keep you from taking risks and stepping outside of your comfort zone to achieve your goals. The lies. Whoa, okay. So some of my fears, literally, like I'm currently holding on to right this minute, is I have a fear that the value of my service is not what others can afford or will purchase.
Mm.
That's one.
That's why he partnered you with me.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that is absolutely why. Um, not some of my fears are of not having enough business or social marketing acumen to capitalize on some of the market. So that's learning now, but still a fear. And then being a small fish in a big pond. And then my question to myself was how to take over this pond and be a bigger fish in the ocean. Because I don't want to be in the lake or the sea. I want to be in the ocean. So
Okay.
my mind is already like, this is where I am today, but tomorrow I'm trying to take this pond over and then be transported through a canal or channel somehow to the ocean.
I love that. That's wonderful.
Finding Nemo. I'm going to find Nemo and
That
Dory.
is, that is. I love that. That's one of your challenges because you are so super competitive. You take on a challenge like nobody's business. So I know you will be swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Arctic Ocean in no time because that you just are. That's what you
I
do.
appreciate
Yeah.
that, Ladon.
Hi, Natasha. Thank you for joining us. So I just asked everybody to put something in the chat. And what I wanted them to put in the chat was, what have you surrendered to? Tell us one thing in your life that you surrendered to that brought you peace, that brought you ease. So yeah, I love those things that you listed. Those are very brave to say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm being vulnerable.
yeah, you are very very brave to say. And yeah. So we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum because I'm very much of the opinion that um I am of an extremely high value.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned just watching people in everyday life and then watching people in a professional work, people, even if they say they cannot afford it, if it's something people want, they will find a way
They will. They
to
sure will.
afford it. So if what you're offering is of enough value to them,
That's right.
they're gonna find it. And I've known people that said, I'm just not gonna eat. I'm gonna eat Vienna sausages. I'm just not gonna do whatever it is to get whatever it
To
was.
get
What
whatever. Yeah.
a Jordan, a concert ticket, whatever. So people buy what they want. So yeah, I'm not. Mm-mm. It costs to play with
I know.
people
I know.
a lot,
I know.
a whole bunch, a whole bunch.
Got you.
I'm just saying. So yeah, okay. Dot said, stop saving people who. Ooh,
Oh, what did I say? Because that sounds real
I'm assuming
profound.
she's saying she's surrendering to stop saving people who do not want to be saved.
I'm
And
about
then
to drink
Paul
on
said,
that. I'm about to
amen.
drink on that.
Baby, when I tell you, I'm going to give you a visual of that. And this is something that happened to me for real. When you're in a pool and someone's drowning and you jump in to help them, and in their panic, they start pulling you down. That's
Mm-hmm.
what saving people who don't want to be saved feels like. Not only do they not want to be saved, they will kill you in the process.
Mm.
So they tell you, when you're trying to be a good Samaritan and save that person who's drowning and they doing that, push away from them with your feet. But if you can't, punch them square in their face. And I've had to do that before. I've been in the pool where I was trying to help somebody and I had to punch them square in their face for them to let me go. Like, yeah, amen.
Wow.
Stop saving people who don't want to be saved, because some people like their chaos. Some
Yeah.
people like their misery. Some people like their complacency. Some people can't even dream beyond where they are. And so they ain't trying. They want to complain about it, but they ain't trying. Okay, so let me go ahead and jump for let me get off my soapbox. So the next quote in question, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm
Oh,
changing myself, Rumi. I
I
love
love this
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. So yes, I wanted to make an impact on the world. So I constantly looked around and found out everything that was wrong. I could tell you what was wrong with that. I could tell you what's wrong with you. I could tell you what's wrong, because I had the answers and I could fix it, right? And so once I started going through my healing journey, a lot of things changed. I started to see the way that I was seeing things might have been wrong
Mm,
more than the thing being wrong, right?
mhm.
Because at the end of the day, who's to say what's right and wrong, right? Of course, we have rules and all that kind of good stuff, but at the end of the day, there's more than one way to do a thing, to approach a thing, to feel a thing, to know a thing. So on my healing journey, I realized as I healed, my perception of the world changed,
I
and
got you.
that created a major level of clarity for me, to the degree that my path, it's almost like it's like the runway on the airport where they got the lights going down. I can clearly see my path now because it's not jaded with the, I can see everything that's wrong.
I
Now I'm
got you.
seeing where there are opportunities, right?
I got you.
Where there are
Got
opportunities where I can help. So yeah, yeah. Thank you, Ellis, for joining. I appreciate it. Okay, so the question is, knowledge is information and wisdom. I'm sorry, knowledge is information and wisdom comes from lessons learned. How can you apply your internal knowledge and wisdom to impact your external experience? Exercise patience.
you.
Ask the question behind the question.
Mm,
That's what I've learned. You can read
mm.
something and get some knowledge, but that does not mean it's transferred into wisdom. Wisdom comes after you've experienced a thing, personally experienced a thing. So exercise patience, ask the question behind the question, listen to what is not being said, watch what is not being shown, allow
Right.
things to unfold, and appreciate the roles that people play in your life. What do I mean by that? People don't want to hear this all the time. There will be people in your life that you will deem a villain because they will come in and do some crazy ish to you. And you like,
Mm,
why? I ain't even did nothing to you. Why? Why you coming at me like this? Why? Right? But you also play that role in somebody else's life. You
right.
do that to somebody, whether you recognize that or not. You might not have seen yourself like that, but you've had that same impression on somebody. And I believe those people come to shake us up. I believe those people come to bring a level of discomfort so we can
Mm-hmm.
now apply knowledge that we've had that we've been ignoring and turn it into wisdom by moving through experience. They come to move us. So when that person shows up in your life, it's time for you to go to the next level. It's time for you
Right.
to do another experience. So I've learned to appreciate those people looking back. Yeah, they have been the reason that I've experienced some of the things that I've experienced, because if it was all just comfortable, then I could have stayed where I was and made the
Mm-hmm.
best of it. But I've had some wonderful and unique experience because some people played that role in my life. Hey Carlos, thanks for joining. He said start with listening to what people are saying before trying to figure out what's not being said.
I
True.
know that's right.
You,
I know
you
that's right.
you have to listen. You have to be an active listener and actually listen to what they're saying. But this is not to counter your statement, because I believe what you're saying is 100% true. But people are people, and people learn to share with you what they want to share with you, and they learn to craft a message. So you have to listen to what they're saying, but also listen carefully to what's not being said to try to get a full picture. Now you might pick up something and be completely wrong, but you have the opportunity to ask the question at that point. So yep. So yeah, that's my question and quote. And so the takeaway for me from this chapter is, you've got to really do a lot of reflection. You've got to really put yourself out there. You got to really believe that you are supposed to be at this place. You've got to seek out people who've been before you. and not be too shy to ask for assistance or guidance. You got to put yourself out there at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Whether it's romantically, you got to ask that girl out. You got to ask that guy out. Somebody else might feel like they're out of your league, but you might be just who they're looking for. You don't know until
that's right.
right. And you got to put yourself out there in whatever it is you desire to have for your career, because nobody can chart that course but you. And you got to start looking at the traditional route, because everybody is only so many spaces on the traditional route. Sometimes you got to do something else to get what you want. So, yeah. Nicole, you have any other comments on that? Make sure our special guest is ready to queue up with us.
No, I think with that particular session, just, believe, believe, believe. Use your imagination and don't be afraid of what you come up with.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't be afraid of what you come up with and take one step at a time, one percentage a day
Yeah, yeah.
towards it.
Yeah, I think you, girl, you using all the magical words tonight.
I
Like
didn't know. I didn't know.
people discount that, the imagination.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the greatest things that has been gifted to us. The first being, the first being the ability to love, the second being the ability to choose, and
Mhm.
then the third being the ability to create by using your imagination. And I think a lot of us don't do that enough. We wait for people to feed something to us,
Right.
and play by the rules, but then we get upset because it's not necessarily what we want. So yeah, your imagination is key. I think our special guest is joining us tonight. Excited. And we have Mr. Paul Lawson on with us tonight.
Hey,
Oh,
Paul.
There you
hey,
go.
how are you?
Hey,
I'm
Paul.
good, Paul. How you doing today?
Hello. Been a while.
I know.
Been a
Oh
while.
yeah,
Been a while.
I was excited about this chapter, this topic for you, Mr. Paul, because
And
you are a man of many talents. You have your day analyst. I think that's the right term.
yep.
And you are an artiste extraordinaire. Um, I don't know if you account this as one of your dream career or options, but you mean with a hammer, sir. You somebody can dream it, you can build it, right? So
Right.
you have so many things. So, and I know you're always trying to figure out. You are the quintessential statue, the man that thinks. You're always thinking of something, right?
Right.
And how to improve your life. So I thought this would be a great topic for you. So could you tell us, before you kind of jump into it, the
Mhm.
topic? We've had two men on this whole
Okay.
second guy. So
Okay.
most people don't think about men journaling. Is journaling something you do or not?
Journal is something I do, and I do it a couple of different ways.
Okay.
Okay,
So
then. All right.
and this is
Saucy.
something I recommend. Actually, I was talking to a friend about this the other day. So I'm not the best writer, and my mind will think faster than my hand can get it down. So of course, record it, write it down later. That's one.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other trick is I'm a big music person. So at the end of my day, I want to know how my day went, or I want to know how I felt in a situation. There's a song attached to that I learned from you to make the playlist. Somewhere in my playlist or in my library, there's a song that's going to be like, this is exactly how you feel today. And I add it to the playlist. I did it for a month. Every time I had a feeling about something, I put the song on my playlist. This is my feelings for the month. So at the end of the month, I could go listen back to my 30, 35 songs, and I knew exactly how my month went.
That's so awesome. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to steal that one.
Okay. Oh my God. That's a journey to take. That's a journey to take. And I love that because it's a plethora of songs out there. But not only do you get to go back in time, but you get to, because music does something to people.
Yeah, it sure do. It sure does.
Get to connect in a different way. So okay, now I got another question. So on that particular way to journal, and you're going back at the end of the month and you go back and listen to it, what is the feeling? Is it cathartic? Is it
Um,
What's happening?
it's funny. I'm gonna tie this to this goal thing. This is how I felt. This is the reflection. What am I going to seek to feel on the next month?
Okay. Okay.
Like, okay, this is where I was at. What's next?
Okay.
And I'm gonna kind of cheat a little bit, then we can come back. So my word was seeking, and on the first page.
Okay.
And it's like when you went through your words, it was still the sentence seeking. When Nicole went through her words, it was the sentence that seeking had in there. A lot of people sit back and wait for, okay, what's next? What's going to be my next obstacle? What's going to be my next journey? What's next for me? Why do you wait? And back to control. Why are you waiting for what's next? You
Just
control
go
that.
seek it out.
Seek out what you want.
I love
Like
that.
I said, okay, I want to be this great artist. I went and found every art show I could find, every exhibition I could find on the level that I wanted to be at. If I sit back,
Uh-huh.
guys who've been shooting 20 years longer than me, and they had no idea what's out there. And I would look at them, I look up to them like, oh shoot, I'm trying to be like you. And they're like, yo, you doing it because you're on this stage. I'm like, dude, I had to go look for it. Here's the links. You know what I mean? Like, I learned something, I'm passing it along. I'm not in competition with my artistry. We're all here together.
I
Mhm.
love that. I love that. And you said something that was really, really all right. Not only do you go seek it, you were no punk about it. You
Mhm.
went to seek something that was on the level you
Exactly.
wanted to be on. Because
Right.
I like it.
inch out there and we'll put our toe in the water instead of jumping in. I love that, Paul.
Right.
Love that. Okay. 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 Oh my God. Okay.
That's
that's a
awesome.
wrap. We're
That
done
is
with Paul
awesome.
tonight.
So, Paul, let me ask you a question. Why
Uh-huh.
do you think most people don't seek? What do you think hinders people from seeking in your experience?
Okay, so most people don't. There's a plethora of reasons. One is that they've never had to or been taught to. Like, think about like when you're growing up, your parents tell you, okay, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. Get a college, go do this, go do that, go do that. Get a job, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. You know what I mean? Like, it takes that special person that says, okay, I'm going to blaze my own path this way because this is what I want to do, regardless. I mean, yeah, you say, okay, I want to be an astronaut. I know I got to go to this school. I got to do this well. I got to fly this airplane. That path is there, but you didn't necessarily seek the path. You went and looked at a book and said, da da da. You know, I mean, people, it's hard to be like, okay, I'm gonna step out of this comfort zone and go for what I want, not just for what I see that's available already.
Yeah,
I see.
that makes sense.
And the other thing is they just don't know that what's not out there is out there. I mean, some people just don't have the imagination to think outside the box.
Mm-hmm. Imagination. That word comes up again.
It comes again. And we were talking about that last night, like jobs. There are some jobs out there that people would never guess are jobs. It's
Yeah.
some stuff out there, and you just don't imagine beyond your day to day or what you've been exposed to. So that's why it's good to go seeking because it's so much out there. It's
Right.
Yeah.
so much out there. So you talked about your one word, that activity. Well, before we get into anything else,
Yeah.
was that your favorite activity in the section? So we have one word, quote and question, closure letter, and then the love letter.
The one word was my challenge. So I'm a challenge person. Tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it. Give me something difficult, I'm gonna find a way to figure it out. You know, I figure it out. Like, that's my day to day. I study people and figure them out.
Yeah.
So with that, see, here's a paragraph. You gotta pick one word.
Yeah. Tough.
You know, it's like,
Tough.
okay, let me think on this. Let me sleep on this and come back to this the next morning, read it again and say, okay, this is right here kind of sums up who I am personally. Like, this is the word that speaks to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Well, that activity resonated with you. So
Yeah.
this is talking about personal and professional growth. So as you went through the activities in this challenge, in this topic, was there something that was really highlighted on one side as opposed to the other, professional versus personal, in the area of growth?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, Like right now, I'm just in transition, and it's one of those where, you know, I'm fairly new to my job. Let's say 6 months in, I believe. I had new goals that I did not know that I wanted professionally that have developed throughout me being there. You know,
Okay.
okay. And personally, it's one of those like you reach that age, 45, 46, and you're like, okay, I'm here in my life. This is where I was supposed to be, I guess.
Mhm.
Where do I really want to be? Is it the same? You
Ooh.
know, so going through this, okay, what am I looking for in both places? You know, yeah, this is what I say I want to do in the job. I want to be a manager. I don't want to do this. I don't want to, be in the data weeds. You know, I want to be this decision maker. But is that really what I want to do? You know what I mean? Could I find this little niche over here just talking to people all day? That's my happy place. I mean, yeah, I get the data, but I'd rather spend 7 hours and 30 minutes talking to somebody than, 5 hours in data and 3 hours talking to somebody. Like
Mm-hmm.
I create that. How can I seek and create that role and make that something that's valuable? Something where somebody else can see the value in it that I see in it. And then personal, it's like, okay, here, like I said, this is what society says you're supposed to be at this point in your life. Why? You know what I mean? Like at this point, I don't care what anybody thinks. Kind of to say, I mean, if you can't judge me, and that you don't affect my life, your opinion is heard, but it doesn't really carry any weight. I can throw it in the box and go to the box when I say, okay, where's my motivation come from? This person said I couldn't do it. Bet, got you. You know what I mean? Like this person said, this is the norm, this is acceptable. Why? Answer the question, like, what am I doing outside of this norm that everybody's so scared of to try to enforce this norm?
Yeah.
It's like, so that's kind of where I'm at with both of them. It's just still developing. I got my chalkboard. I can't show it because of other stuff, but it's got my list of things on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So he touched on something our guest last night touched on. So when you're looking at career, and I think it spans across your whole entire life, but she spoke about it in career. When you look at not just the job title, the job description, but is this the environment? Am I okay with if I am going to be a manager? Do I want to do all the manager stuff, or do I just like the title? Right?
Right.
Or do I just like the money that comes? So again, a holistic view. So working through some of these topics, it makes you answer at what makes you ask those kind of questions. Like,
Mhm.
let's say I want this, but do I really
Right.
want this? And is there another way to really get to what I want?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's major. Like people want to say, okay, I want to make this amount of money, but I don't want to do this amount of work. Okay, find a way you can not do that amount of work and make that amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, like all I want to do is empty trash cans. Fine. Find a way to empty trash cans and make your 100K a year to live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it if you market it. Or I mean, if you put in the work, you seek out, okay, how can I make this happen? Or is this impossible?
Yeah. So let me say hello to Angela. Thank you for joining. And Carlos said, Nicole, is that confirmation? So what specifically are you asking, Carlos? Is that confirmation? What thing was said?
Yep.
So was there anything new in doing these exercises that you learned
About yourself.
Yeah. So
About myself,
uh-huh.
I am more passive than what I thought I was.
More passive or passionate?
Passive.
Okay.
Passive. Okay.
Because a lot of times it's like when I say seeking was important to me, it's because I've been that guy's like I did what I was supposed to do. I went to high school, went to college, got a career, I'm tiptoeing up this corporate ladder. But what do I really want to? I mean, like, what am I looking for? This path is made, but is there other options? You know what I mean? Like this can't be life and be feeling the way I feel. It's like, come on, I spent half my life in this building or doing this task. Is this really what I want to do? I love my job, what I do, but is there another aspect of this job that I really could want to do? You know, same thing in life. Like, okay, yeah, get married, buy a house, da da da. Do I really want to live on a farm with a bunch of land and I can shoot my guns all day and take pictures over here? You're like what do you really want to do? And in here it's like, okay, set your goals. What's holding you back? What is your goal? And that's the major part. People would say, I want to do this, that, and the other, but they never say what the goal is. I want a better job. It's not specific enough. I want a better job on what? How do you want to do it? Where do you want to do it? And you said something really special to me. It's like, where are you going to work? Like, I've had great paying jobs in piss poor environments. You'd be miserable going to work every day. You love what you do, but you just hate where you do it.
Right.
And there's a value to that a lot of people discount and just take it and say, okay, well, I'm getting the money I want to get, but everybody else around you suffers.
Yeah.
I got to the point where the only person that's going to remember that you work late every night is the kids at home.
Yeah.
And they mad at you.
As hell. And they're going to remember.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
So when you said you recognize you were being passive, were you being passive about something in particular or passive in your decision making? Or
I think I was being passive in my decision making, and part of it was I'm damn good at everything I do, but I felt I didn't want to be the bragger to tell somebody I'm damn good at what I do. I deserve this. I just hope for them to see it. Look at my work. Here's my work. Just see it. Oh yeah. You can see it. Yeah. But I wasn't assertive enough to be like, I deserve X, Y, and Z because of X, Y, and Z.
Well, corporate America loves you. Corporate America loves you. They want a Paul that comes in that's damn good at everything that they do and hope that you see me and pick me.
Right. No.
We're not.
I'm gonna pick me, and you can decide, okay, yes, I want you, or I know somebody else that do.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So let me say, Carlos said regarding a conversation about purpose that was had earlier, something says this conversation is confirmation. Yes, it's confirmation. Yes. So you talked about the one word and it being a challenge. So I'm assuming that was your favorite activity. In working through the journal and working through the quotes and questions, you realize that you're passive, or you had not been as assertive as you recognize that you could have been, and that you're on a journey to seeking. What if you had to give the RPJs, the Reimagined Potential Journalers, that's a tongue twister, can get tongue twister. So if you had to give them, out of this chapter, managing personal and professional growth and development, what are three things that you would say you got the most out of this chapter, or you would recommend that they do as they're looking to figure out how to move down that development line for career and personal?
One thing is about it, like the way you said it, career and personal, they aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. Your personal goals can help your professional goals. Your professional goals can help your personal goals. So, okay, at work, I want to be more organized and I want to be more task oriented and be a finisher, get stuff done. Why is that not the same thing you bring home?
I love that. Okay.
So that's one thing. They don't have to be separate. There's some synergy in developing your personal goals and your professional goals together.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask for help in getting to your goals.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are.
They are. Pride is a mug. Like nobody wants to say, people are scared to show their weaknesses to their manager. Why? You come to your manager like, yo, I'm stuck on this. I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
They're there to help you. And if they think like I do, it's like, yo, I'm always trying to find my replacement so I can move up.
Okay. But I think that's true in your personal life too. We're afraid to say where we're failing in our relationship or where we need help. Yeah.
And it's one of those where people say, okay, that's a sign of weakness. If my mate says you're weak because you don't have this part, that's not who I necessarily need to be with. You know what I mean? Like, and people are scared to face that reality and stuff and being, okay, I'm vulnerable. Here's my weakness. Help me. And that whatever comes back from that, that could be a scary place.
Yeah.
Right.
Professionally and personally. So don't be afraid to ask for help, and you don't fix your weaknesses by yourself. If there's somebody, how you say, get a mentor, there's somebody who's been there, done that before. They're going to give you the path, and hopefully they teach you how you got through it. So the next person that's going to run into the same problem that your person before you ran into, you got to fix for
Right.
that.
That's right.
And you really show your value when you fix it, so nobody else after you have to run into that problem again.
Okay. Talk about it. Well, I asked for 3 things, but I'm gonna ask you to
Okay.
stop at 2 because
Yeah.
I have something else I want to ask
No.
you, and I think you answered it. Surrender. Surrender in this season of life. Is it getting easier, or do you find it difficult to still surrender to things that are unknown?
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah, I know where I've been. I don't like. If I know I've been, I don't like it. I have nothing to lose.
That's that on that.
I mean, what do you have to lose if you've been there and you didn't like where you were? You have nothing to lose by surrendering that past to the past and moving to whatever is on the end, whatever is in that black
It's on the other side.
other side.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it again, swap.
Yeah.
Keep moving to the next one.
Yeah.
I mean, life is not a end point. I mean, there's an end point, but your cycle doesn't have to just stop once you get to the next step. The next landing, turn, go back up the next step again. Like people get happy and stuck in just being.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the last question for me.
Yeah.
Is there a specific level or thing, I don't know the appropriate word, that you envision for yourself in your career and personally? So I know you have 2 full careers, artist and analyst. Is there a specific place today that you envision yourself being?
I think it might be better to answer what's going to come along with once I get there.
Okay.
Career-wise, when I know at any given point, I can say, you know what, I need to take a week off and go on vacation. Or I need to take a week off and just spend it with my kids. You know what I mean? Or to have the freedom to do whatever you need or want to do, and that does not put your lifestyle at risk. Once I reach that point, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, everybody might put a number on it. No, that's a moving target because inflation goes up. Now your number's not your number anymore. Now you keep going. It's because job it supports a life. If your life doesn't, it supports your lifestyle. And I want a lifestyle where I can spend time with the kids when I want to, spend money on what I want to, and I'm not stressing.
Yeah.
I can come home, I can leave my work at work. Once I shut the laptop, it's done. Professionally, photography at one point was a career, and then you get burnt out on your passion for art or craft with the business side. So yes, I do. I think a lot of people say, okay, this is what I'm good at, and they mismanage how they handle the situation. So yeah, you can be a great photographer if you hate the business side, and the next thing you know, you're fussing at clients and you don't handle your business well. No matter how great you are, you're not making any money.
Yeah.
Outsource that part. Just shoot.
Yeah.
And right now, that's where I'm at. It's like, you know what? If I make money, I make money. But I know this is a hobby that's can't even say an investment. It's just something that I invest mine. It pays me back in my happiness. So
it pays me back in my happiness.
Right.
Okay, I love that. Okay.
So that's my return on that. And personally, I just want peace. That's all anybody wants. Just and fighting to get to that point is all the work that builds to that peaceful place.
So I heard freedom, happiness, and peace. That's where you're reaching.
Yep, that'll work.
Okay, I think we're all reaching for those things. Okay. Well, Paul, you have been
Absolutely
a wealth of knowledge, and I think you built on something that we was a tool that I gave you. Now I'm looking at a different way. The playlist. Oh my God, that is
God
amazing.
might give me tools. Believe you me, they sit in the toolbox.
They're sitting in the
Don't throw no
okay. I love it.
Don't throw
I
no
love
tools away.
it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing, and I'm so excited that you agreed to come on. You
Thank you so much. Yeah.
and Mr. Milton, because again, I believe people don't think men journal. You know,
Oh yeah, we
I
right.
think it's important for men, just as important for men, to get it out of their head and down on paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Journaling is a lot more powerful than what people think. They say, "Oh, I'm just keeping it," because I think as a man, you associate journaling with diaries.
Mm.
Diaries not necessarily manly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we changed the name to journal.
Yeah.
And still can't. And what they're doing is writing down as according to the diary that they saw on Babysitter's Club. It's not the same. You know what I mean? There needs to be an instruction on how do you journal, what's worth journaling, you know, like what's the end goal on your journal. And I think that'll change the perspective that people have with of journal, especially men.
Yeah, and that was our goal here. That's why it's guided. It's not scripted, because your story, your journey, self-discovery is yours, but we wanted to make sure it was something that someone can follow. You know what? If you get to the end of it, if you move through honestly, you can see the progression and the end goal, right? And starting point. So that was our goal. That was our goal. Yeah. All right. Well, let me give a last couple shout outs. Thank you, Jackie, for joining. I'm just gonna go ahead and go through everybody, so make sure I didn't miss anybody. Ellis and Natasha, Verna, Dot, Carlos, Jackie, Marilyn, Betty. I have a couple people I can't get back to at the top, but thank you guys for joining tonight and tuning in. There are a couple other people that haven't put their names in the chat, so thank you too for joining.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you as a special guest, Mr. Paul. You have given us
my pleasure.
And yes, real men do journal.
Absolutely.
Real men do journal, right? So yeah, it's a tool that can be used by all. And I'm glad you were able to express that and show that, and yeah, leave us with some good stuff, sir.
I appreciate it.
I learn to drop a gem every now and then.
You do. You dropped a couple of them. Well, we will be back tomorrow for day 10. Day 10 of this 12-day journey. So day 10. So we have a couple of more topics to cover, and we can't wait to get back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat station, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul.